Welcome to this week's What's for Dinner video. My name is Ashley. I'm going to be showing you 3 different meals I made this past week. I don't always follow recipes exactly, but if you're interested, I've linked some similar recipes down below. The first dinner I'm going to be showing you, I made a chili tater-tot casserole. I have made something similar like this before with hot dogs, like a chili dog bake, but because I am 27 weeks pregnant, surprise, we decided to omit hot dogs in this recipe. So I am just making my own chili for this bake. I'm just using about a pound of ground beef, I think, and I'm just going to cook that up until it is no longer pink. Once the ground beef was done and I drained out as much grease as I could, I am adding in 2 cans of pinto beans, and I am starting with a small can of tomato sauce. I will end up adding another one shortly. So I'm just going to work on seasoning this mixture. I used some chili powder, some Cajun seasoning, smoked paprika, onion powder, I also decided to add in my other small can of tomato sauce. Once I've got this mixture looking pretty good, I'm going to go ahead and add in my liquid. So I'm adding basically chicken broth, but I'm just going to use water and chicken bouillon powder. I'm going to mix everything together and season a little bit more. I just brought this up to a boil and put a lid on it. I let this sit on simmer or boil for about 20 minutes. For my thickener, I like to use a cornstarch slurry. I love cornstarch slurry for really any type of thing to thicken up, whether that be gravy or chili. So I did let this simmer and thicken up even longer. Once the chili was my desired thickness and tasted pretty good, I just went ahead and stopped cooking it. This is a weeknight dinner again. I don't have all night to cook this. Obviously, the longer things like this get to cook, the better they taste. I just transferred all this chili into a 13x9 dish. The smaller pan, it didn't work out, so I just used the 13x9. I'm going to sprinkle the top with cheese first, and then I will begin layering all of my frozen tater tots. I would say I used almost a full bag of frozen tater tots. I probably used about 3/4 of a bag, so definitely make sure you buy a bag if you plan on making this. I'm going to cook this in the oven at 375 degrees. I'm not yet going to sprinkle any cheese on top of the potatoes. Once it is almost done, I'm going to sprinkle the top with some cheese and then broil it for some browning. This is how everything looked when it came out of the oven. I just topped it with some sour cream and a green onion. This was so delicious. The husband actually loved it and made great leftovers. The next dinner I'm going to be showing you, I just was craving some nice, fresh, crunchy chicken tacos, so that is exactly what we made. I'm going to start out with 2 large chicken breasts. I'm going to butterfly them in half so I have thinner pieces of chicken, and then I will just work on seasoning them with some adobo seasoning, taco seasoning, cumin, and of course some onion powder. I have my pan heating up with a little bit of vegetable oil. I have it set to about medium high. I am just going to place all 4 chicken breasts in. I am very confident with my chicken cooking that I'm able to do this and make sure it's cooked, but if you are not, definitely don't cook it like this. I let them cook for maybe 5 minutes on the one side until they were nice and brown on the one side, and then I just went ahead and flipped them. After I flip the chicken, I like to cover it with a lid and keep the heat on. That way it just keeps the chicken nice and juicy, but also helps cook the insides. So I like to remove the chicken kind of one by one. I start with the thinner pieces, remove that, let thicker pieces keep cooking. Once the chicken was done, I just set it aside on the cutting board to rest before I cut it up. While the chicken is resting, I'm just going to work on frying my own little taco shells. I love doing this. It is so delicious. You can also control how crunchy or soft you want your taco shells. I like them pretty crunchy, crispy, so I let them cook until they're nice and brown. When they're done cooking, you just want to drain off the excess oil and set them aside to finish cooling. This was my husband's plate when they were done. I just topped the chicken with some cheese, some lettuce, fresh guacamole, and sour cream. The next dinner I'm going to be showing you, I made some chicken, bacon, avocado paninis, and these were so delicious. I am just starting off cooking up my bacon. I am using the Oscar Mayer bacon for the first time, and I don't think I will ever repurchase this. I feel like this cooked so weirdly, but it was fine. I just cut the strips in half for cooking purposes. Once these were nice and done and brown, I just removed them to drain off the rest of the grease and then cooked the other batch. Once there was enough grease in the pan, I feel like the bacon cooked fine, but the first batch I feel like produced no grease at all. Once the bacon was done, I drained off most of the grease and then seasoned my chicken for cooking. I'm just going to cook all these chicken breasts again in the same pan. For this chicken, I just seasoned with some Cajun seasoning, salt, onion powder, and garlic powder. Lastly, it was time to assemble the paninis, so I'm just spreading a little bit of butter on the outside of the bread, that way it doesn't burn or stick. For mine, I'm just going to use a little less cheese, so I'm just going to use half a slice of cheese for the bottom, put on my chicken and bacon, and then top with some red onion, I love red onion, and some avocado, and then the other half of the cheese. So I put down just a little drizzle of olive oil because they say this helps really toast the bread. I actually got a little distracted making the other sandwiches that it toasted it a little too much. I had to like flip with my hands because there wasn't too much cheese to keep it all together, so it was kind of falling apart. This is how everything looked when it was done. I just served it with a little salad on the side. These were so good, and I will definitely make these again. Thank you so much for watching this week's What's for Dinner video. Make sure you come back next week for another one.